We begin tonight in Mississauga, Ontario, where there was a show of support today for two men locked up in Egypt. One of them is Canadian journalist Mohamed Fahmy. He got a 7-year sentence this week while on the job in Cairo. The other is a former member of Egypt's deposed Muslim Brotherhood government. As Christina Stevens reports, their families call the sentences politically motivated and bogus, and they're calling on the Canadian government to do more to intervene.
It was a graphic display by protesters gathered in Mississauga, calling on the federal government to do more to help Canadians imprisoned in Egypt. The family of Canadian journalist Mohamed Fahmy is grateful for the public support. Earlier this week, he was sentenced to 7 years in jail, along with his two colleagues.
It's really crazy. I mean, we're still in shock from what happened.
There has been a lot of criticism over the Canadian government's apparent lack of action, but Fahmy's family is hopeful.
I've received reassurance that they have started to really work hard on this and give it full emphasis and focus.
Less convinced is Sarah Atia, whose husband is also locked up in Egypt.
He's still in solitary confinement, now 23-hour solitary confinement.
Khaled Al-Kazaz was part of Morsi's government when he was arrested a year ago. He still has not been charged with anything. A permanent resident of Canada, he was just months away from getting his citizenship. Atia says Canada has a moral obligation to him and Fahmy.
With the severity of the human rights violations that are happening in Egypt, they need to take a more forceful stance, and they need to demand that Mohamed Fahmy be released. They need to demand that Khaled be released and brought home here to Canada with his family.
Former diplomat Gar Party says he would hope there's something going on quietly behind the scenes, but there haven't been any indications of it in Fahmy's case.
You're not going to get very far with this Egyptian government by shouting at them, that's for sure. But by the same token, I think there are things that the government could be doing that they're not doing.
Meanwhile, Fahmy's family says they have to wait for the judge's report, which should be released within 30 days to launch an appeal. Then the appeal process could take months. All the while, Fahmy's languishing behind bars, so diplomatic and political pressure need to continue.
Because this is simply stated a crime against journalism, a crime against journalists, and a crime against humanity, honestly, when someone's life gets ruined with not a shred of evidence of incrimination.
Free, free Fahmy!
He says they're trying to stay optimistic, and knowing there's support like this helps.
Freedom's coming in a hurry!
Christina Stevens, Global News, Mississauga, Ontario.